So thank you very much for joining me for my first video about my election pledges in Eden District Council elections in Penrith West next week. This first video is going to be about my pledge on the living wage. Basically, I'm going to argue that all Eden District Council workers should be paid the living wage, that any contracts that Eden District Council gives out should only go to firms who also pay the living wage, and I'm going to try and engage with local businesses and encourage them to be signed up as accredited living wage employers as well. The living wage is an hourly rate calculated on the basic cost of living in the UK in the present year, set every November in Living Wage Week. The current rate is £7.85 an hour. It's paid by all sorts of companies, from national companies like HSBC Bank to local firms like Eden Housing Association.
I think the living wage is an idea whose time has come. Of course there needs to be a minimum wage, but beyond that I think we care about what wage people are paid, and what local councils are showing, what businesses are showing, is that we can do more. And what I'm saying the next Labour government will do is it will seek to find ways of promoting the living wage, publishing information about companies that pay the living wage and those that don't, seeing whether in the way that government contracts with the private sector it can promote the living wage, and also trying to share some of the savings that government will get from a living wage, because there'll be lower benefits bill and tax credits bill if that happens, if private sector companies pay a living wage, try to share some of those savings with the private sector.
A lot of people think it's some sort of lefty Labour idea. Absolutely isn't. It was actually started in 2001 by a group of parents in East London who'd, totally sick of balancing, 2-3 jobs sometimes, trying to make ends meet, losing all quality time with the family. So they decided we'd join together and have a campaign to try and get a wage we can live off. So many of you may be thinking, well, why would businesses bother to pay the living wage? Well, it just makes good business and economic sense. It keeps your overheads down because you've got more productive staff, happier, more content. They can look after themselves better, eat better, not as stressed about money, which is, stress and mental illness is a big problem for businesses in the workplace nowadays. So it really does make a lot of good sense, and the reason why a lot of businesses have done this is because they found it actually makes them more money.
I support this because it is pure economic common sense, and I'm proud to say that since 2005, London employers of all kinds have put £235 million extra into the pockets of the families in our city who need it most, the poorest and most hardworking families in our city. And I know, and they know, the employers know, that they have simultaneously helped their businesses with lower overheads, higher morale, better health outcomes for their employees, and higher productivity.
We absolutely need the living wage in our local economy and across the nation as well. If you look at the things that have been going on in the last 5 years, we've had to pay out a lot in tax credits to, subsidise people's wages because they're not earning enough to live off. They're also not earning enough to pay their own rent. Housing benefit is 30% of the welfare bill. The second biggest expenditure after pensions, and that is unsustainable, and we really do need to get people earning enough to be able to pay them things themselves and provide them with that dignity that work pays, and have a bit more money to boost the economy as well, because at the same time not only are we losing out with paying out these benefits in work benefits, that's people who are working, but we're also losing out in the tax that those people could be paying as well. So there's two reasons why we've absolutely got to address it on a national scale, and that's absolutely necessary in Eden as well, because if you look at the local economy, we've actually got a higher than average productivity. At the same time, our median wage is 15% lower than the average for the UK. So it's absolutely necessary that we tackle this problem in low wage and underemployment we've got in Eden, and the living wage is a massive step towards starting to tackle that. If you look at the type of jobs we've got in the area, care workers, public sector workers, supermarket workers, people who work in tourism and hospitality, they're all notoriously low paid jobs. We need to do better with that. They're also all jobs that are disproportionately women. A real problem in our economy across the country is a problem with demand, and that's just the same in Eden, because people don't have that disposable cash to spend. That's something we really need to change, and the living wage could provide at least a 12 million boost a year into our local economy that we badly need.
I think at the moment the real problem we've got in our country is a lack of demand in the economy. That's why we were hearing from local councils today that it actually makes financial sense for them and for the wider economy for lower paid people to be paid more. Now, of course, it's got to be affordable, and you've got to make sure it's consistent with keeping jobs. That's why I say we need a legal minimum wage. It's not about increasing the legal level of the minimum wage by £2 an hour, but let's find ways beyond the legal minimum of promoting a living wage.
So I suppose some of you might be thinking, well, this is something for the big cities, this won't work in Eden, but that's absolutely not the case either. Eden District Council is actually the only council in Cumbria that doesn't yet pay the living wage, which I think is absolutely shocking. We've discussed all the benefits, all these different places, all these different companies that are doing it. Eden District Council should be leading on this really, and encouraging the private sector to follow, to make sure that we provide the dignity that work pays to them 6,400 people in Eden who are trapped on in-work benefits. That's about building an economy that works for working people, and a stronger local economy with that £12 million boost that everybody, gets the benefits from.
Do what the 432 businesses in London have already done. Pay the living wage to your employers. They won't regret it, and above all, you won't regret it.
Well, thank you very much for watching my video. I do hope that's helped explain why it's so important to me and why I think it's so necessary in Eden. We can absolutely do something about this. I may need your help to do it, knocking on your door and getting you to sign a petition to actually force this issue onto the table to make sure that Eden District Council have to deal with it. But like I say, with your help we can absolutely do that. It's something I'm going to be working towards as a Penrith Town Councillor for Penrith West, your new Town Councillor, but it's something that obviously we can get a much more force and impact with if I was your District Councillor as well. So again, thank you for watching, I do really appreciate it, and I hope you will get down and vote next week. Hopefully I'll see you before the election, but if not, I certainly will afterwards as your town councillor, if not your district councillor as well.
A no-brainer really. The economy is driven by consumers. If people don't have money to spend, the economy can't grow. So listen all you employers, listen all you businessmen, listen all you politicians. Give ordinary working people proper wages, the economy will grow. Trust me.